This is Big John from BackStage360, and I'm talking with Joe Grah, the lead singer of Dallas's own alternative rock band, JIBE. How you doing today, man?
Hey, pretty good, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. So you just put out a brand new album that your fans have pretty much been clamoring for, from what I understand, for about 11 years, and this is Epic Tales of Human Nature. So tell me about where this album came from.
You know, it's a long, drawn-out process of a band coming together, 4 different guys from 4 different places in the universe, sharing a common goal, coming into fruition and achieving that goal, and then self-sabotaging and just deconstructing the whole fucking thing right when it's at its height. That's the beginning of that.
Yeah.
And then the long enduring quest of many years, over a decade, of people trying to get us back together and us just, no, fuck that, no, fuck that. And then 2015, we got back together, and that's kind of what this is. It's about human nature and how life is cyclical, and we always come back to the things that matter the most to us and the things that mean and impact us the most. And this band is the thing that impacted me quite heavily when it came together and as we drew through it. So that's what the record really does. It tells the story of this whole process.
What was the idea? What actually was the impetus for the reunion concert that was just over 2 years ago in 2015?
Well, I had been getting calls or texts via my girlfriend for years. Hey, do you want to get back a job? This promoter wants us to do this show for X amount of money. I'm like, no. I was either in Chicago with South of Earth, or I was doing Loser. I was, with John Fiver. Whatever I was doing, I Am the Wolf or Dead Girls. I just never really was in the headspace. And plus Ben and I, the original drummer, were very contentious towards each other. And then finally 2015, that call came in. It was like, hey, would you guys be interested? And I looked at my girlfriend. I was like, yeah, I think I fucking am. And then from then on, it was like 4 months of phone calls between the drummer and I, working things out, getting off the, wanting to kill each other fucking bridge, and getting back to reality.
The last 11 years, you've been very prolific, actually, bouncing around from a lot of famous bands, a lot of well-known artists, and you listed a bunch of them off a couple minutes ago. But take me through, like, after you left, after you just kind of dropped JIBE to the curb and decided to take care of yourself. What was that like? All that turmoil, the recovery, finding yourself? Because it seems like that was all jammed into this album, but what was that like personally for you?
Man, well, I came from a school of no boundaries. I had a hippie father that I traveled a lot, and I never was given rules or limitations or curfews or anything, any fucking thing. It was just pretty much go out here and find your way. So I pretty much was in the state of mind of just being bulletproof and not having anything ever really fully affect me in a devastating way. I just felt like I was thick-skinned. And when I lost this band or gave this band away, it put me in a place that I'd never been before. And I felt like a person for the first time in my life. I felt like a mortal flesh and human being, because when we're young, we're bulletproof and we're out of fucking control. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And some of it's more than others, you know what I'm saying? But it happens. But I went through a really low point, and then what got me out of that low point is I started doing production work. I got a studio here in my house in Laurel Canyon, up in the hills here, and it's a nice knotty pine house. And I actually wrote a solo record, and then I ended up calling it Dead Girls Don't Lie. And that was my first foray into really just being free to just be an artist. And I really poured my heart and soul into that record. And that led me to be capable to, when this band got back together and we decided this band is bigger than us, we need to make a fucking record and we need to continue on with this, because there's something going on here that's beyond words and beyond music. It's crazy, the interconnectedness this band has and the effect it has on us and the people around us. But anyway, to make a long story short, this record really, because I can go on for days, man. There's been so much shit, and half the shit I can't remember, so I can only tell you half of it, to be honest. But basically, this fucking record, man, it really, I'm telling you, I never listen to my own shit, and as soon as I make a record, I always walk away from it, and that's done. That's my emotions, that's my thoughts, my feelings, my experience, that's my therapy. Get it the fuck out of my head, you know what I'm saying? But this record,
oh, I get that, yeah.
This record, man, I just listened to it yesterday, and it blows my fucking mind. It brings tears in my eyes. It takes me to places, and I really feel like this record encapsulated everything that I've ever personally, and this band as a unit. It encapsulates everything we've been about in our whole path and our whole quest and the sincerity in what we're trying to achieve as artists and as human beings. I really feel like this record, it's fucking blowing my mind, is all I can say. It's got my nuts.
Well,
pinched right now.
I got to tell you, it's quite interesting to take a look at JIBE and go back to when you guys first kind of hit the scene in the late 90s all the way through 2004. you had three different like main albums other than the live album, and they were from different studios. And then you have this one that you're just guys are putting together. And like you said, it feels like it takes you through a journey from your early beginnings all the way to through that time frame. But with your travels over the last 11 years musically, it has a different kind of draw to it than your earlier stuff. It's more heavy, like you say. And plus, you have a lot more breakdowns, like with the piano. You have a lot of piano in this album. And then what was it? Let me look at my notes real quick. In Children of the Sun, you have that really, really cool psychedelic breakdown.
Thanks.
So did you improve? I mean, obviously you improved from playing more, but did you kind of improve your style and your ability to absorb different sounds in your kind of your break from the band?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I'll be honest, I love to be reflective and I love to be engaged. And you're engaging me right now with other truths that I haven't, approached yet in any interviews, and I like this. Basically, when we were at our end, we were trying to work with different producers, and we were kind of caught in a cyclical motion. We had come out with as this jam band beginning, having 8-minute songs and just going off and really tapping into the ether. And then we kind of, as we started to get a little attention towards radio later in our career, we started to hone, working with the producers we work with, we'd hone it more for radio. And at that point, we reached a stagnance. We were doing great. Uprising is amazing. We actually have 2 records worth of material that didn't, and some of it made it onto this record, actually, and pieces of it made it on this record. And some songs like Best I Ever Had is from that era. We've Only Just Begun is from that era. And to be half of Children of the Sun, the verses are from a song called Dose from back in that day we had a new thing, and we jammed in the studio and did this drum circle and shit and created Children of the Sun, which I love.
This album has a lot more fluidity between those genres, and you just explained why. You're pulling back from when you guys were together 11 years ago, and you're pulling pieces from that era that you still have and combining it with your new style and you
exactly,
and just all that angst and anger and stress, frustration, release, and all that. I mean, you even have your most recent single that's called Release, right?
Yes, it is, and you're absolutely right. This, for me personally, this record, it's hard for me to describe it in words other than just say it's 100% truly reflective of the path that I'm going through and the things that I'm going through, and I feel like the rest of us are going through. It's just an artist, I feel like, is obligated to reflect 100% honest to God, uninhibited, unfiltered truth. And if we don't do that, then just do something else or just do it. It's fine at any level. But I feel like artists really have an obligation because we need more true reflections in the world. And I feel like this record, man, I can't tell you how much these songs on this record and how it started out as a collection of songs and it turned into a conceptual record. And I actually did, those piano pieces. We tracked the piano in Austin, and I came here and produced it here at the house. I produced a couple of tracks on the record, the Waiting songs, because the Waiting acoustic song and the 2 piano pieces, because I really wanted to make this a piece that told the story, because we live like 7 days a week. We don't live just one day. We have ups and we have downs and we have in-betweens. And this record really tells that tale, at least from our perspective.
Well, I know your fans can't wait to hear everything live and hear you guys at the tour again, because you guys, I mean, JIBE is known for your touring. You guys incessantly traveled. 11 years ago, you even stopped right in the middle of a tour. So are you going to continue that legacy of JIBE and just hit the road and show everybody how awesome you guys still are?
We're in the planning stages right now. We're looking at tours right now for 2018. We'll definitely be U.S. touring early 2018 and moving towards Europe as we get further into 2018. We're obsessive about the fact that we're a live band. Now that we've honed the studio with Epic Tales, we feel pretty strong. We have a great team around us, a great manager, great everybody. We just assembled this great team, and we have ownership of our product, as they call it in the business. I like to call it our art and our music. So we're definitely moving towards touring, because that's what this band's about.
Well, that's awesome. And I tell you, there's some footage of you guys from back in the day. I think it was 99. You have a super fan on YouTube, just you alone, Joe. He followed everything you've done throughout your career, and he has a lot of videos of you from back in the day on YouTube. You can just look him up, I believe, under your name. He actually has a playlist of your songs. I think that's awesome as a musician to have a fan that dedicated to your work. So it shows, and it definitely speaks volumes for you as a musician, my friend.
Well, man, I appreciate that. Thanks. I've been through some ups and downs, but I've always tried to stay true to the music because the music is therapy, man. And it also connects us with other people. You know, so when I've hid out in my house up here and like felt insular and insulated and everything in between, when I release it into a song and then somebody gets something out of that song, 10 different people get 10 different things out of that song, I'm fucking blown away. You know, I love that. I love that.
Well, that's what it is. It's a form of entertainment, but it's also a form of solidarity and release and all that. And you have one of the things I love about this album, actually, I think my favorite part about this album is the way you end it. I think the song Bravery, it's like a call to arms anthem. And it feels like it's a start, like a restart of JIBE.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. That song, yeah, it's a very, very powerful song. And it really just, the best thing about that song is it just fell out like we were jamming, and it fell out just like Human Condition. Human Condition was written all in like one moment. All the lyrics and everything were written in a rehearsal in the studio in one take, and Bravery was pretty much the same way. I think I perfected the chorus back here in LA a little bit, but man, that's the thing. Some of these songs existed before, but like songs like Bravery really encapsulate the whole ideology of where we're coming from. Like, it's never too late. We've only just begun. Believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying? And let's unify. You know what I'm saying? At any level, any fucking level. You know what I'm saying? Any level.
Oh yeah. When you go to Google the word jibe, it's a sailing term. It's for the moving the mast from side to side in order to catch the wind. And it's a perfect metaphor for you and the way this band has progressed from the early stages all the way to the breakup in '04, and then catching your wind again and being able to catch that sail and jibe ho right into the distance, man. Are you guys planning on more and more albums and continuing this sailing?
Yeah, that's a great. I appreciate that reflection of your vision on what the name means. I haven't heard it put that way. I'm familiar with that terminology, but that's a really great way to put it. I love that. I just wanted to say that first. And secondly, we plan on we actually been filming a documentary over the last 2 years and pulling footage, things that I did that I don't remember, like jumping off shit and getting knocked the fuck out and like breaking things and whatever. We've had all that shit we've been compiling. And then we've also been filming this whole process that's been unfolding over the last 2 years. And we just wrapped up the filming in Dallas a week or so ago at a show when we introduced our new drummer, Todd. And we wrapped that up, and we're going to be editing that a little later this year, and it'll come out next year. And it's pretty engaging, and really it really kind of pulls you in. You know, it's one of those emotional kind of roller coaster things. It's pretty heavy duty, and I'm pretty proud of. We've got a ton of music that's unreleased. We're always writing. Toby, as soon as Toby touches his guitar, I hear words and melody and phrase. It just happens. So we're going to be dropping little bonus singles here and there, little songs. We're going to be making more records. We're going to be touring. We're going to be doing live videos. We're going to be doing, theatrical videos. We're like the first 3 videos we've done since the comeback. I've tried to keep everything different and unique. We did a political kind of social satire with the Human Condition. We did a fun little kind of tongue-in-cheek kind of like, here's what I had to go through to get back to the band and for us to come back together where we've only just begun. And then we did a fucking impactful, here's what we do live for release. And so I don't know what song we're going to do a video for next, but we're going to do something that's going to be completely unique and different. I like that about this band. Every show is different. We never play the same show twice. I fucking hate that. I don't want to regurgitate anything. Throwing up sucks, So it's like, my whole thing is let's keep it fresh. So yeah, we're going to be going for a long time, man. We're really I feel like we're at our peak hum right now, and we're really ready to fire on all fucking cylinders. So I want to take this as far and as long as we can go. So if people have us, we're going to keep coming.
Well, man, it sounds like people are going to have you because they've been clamoring to hear this new album for, like I said, well over a decade. And the internet is already abuzz with Houston's I just screwed that one up. It's Dallas, right?
It's all right. It doesn't matter. We're from everywhere. We're interstate mutts. Just consider us from your town.
Well, actually, real quick, was your album recorded in Dallas, or was it? I'm sorry, in Texas, or was it recorded in LA at your studio?
It was recorded. We recorded in Austin, and then I did some vocals and some production and some overdubs and things here in LA, and then we did some acoustics in a studio in Dallas. So it's basically coarse, but it was done in Orb Studios with Matt Novitsky, a great fucking studio that everybody should check out. in Austin. Love that place. And then we also did a little bit at another guy's studio. I can't remember his name right now, in Dallas. And then I was trying to give him a free fucking plug, but I can't remember his goddamn name. No, it's Alex Gerst. Wonderful engineer and producer. We did acoustics there, and then I did some stuff, quite a bit. I did all the editing here at home because I just want to make sure when I release the art, just like the artwork on the record, I spent way too much money and time on that. It's got a 16-page booklet. I hit all kinds of symbols and numbers and things for people to find on their search, both in the lyrics, both in the artwork and in the songs. It's a quest and it's a journey, and you can go as far as you want to go with it. There's little things to find all over the place. And that's what I enjoyed when I was getting those albums, when you used to get an album and stuff, just opening it up and you could see physical content, and so I did that. I have Centerfold, there's an epic tale in everything, and that
so
I spent a lot of time and way too much money on it.
People need to actually buy the full album, or is a lot of that included with the iTunes download too?
No, not at this time. You got to get the record, and the only place you can get the record is through our website or through bandwear.com, which is our merchandise company. And I, if you're a music lover and you love the physical feel of touching and seeing something and exploring something, I would suggest picking up the record, because I put a lot of time and effort into that to make sure, because most people are just cranking out singles and they're not doing artwork and stuff. They're just doing sleeves and stuff. And I was like, no, this record deserves everything you could possibly give it. Like a child deserves when you have a baby. They deserve every fucking thing you can give them. So I treated it like a newborn baby.
Well, they need to go to JIBEband.com, JIBE band.com, to not only get that single, but also find out where you're going to be playing on November 2nd, because you are in Dallas, right? November 2nd?
We're playing University of North Texas, Denton, which is about 40 minutes north of Dallas, with some good friends of ours we used to tour with, the Nixons. Good history with those guys. Great rock band. They were around back in the day with us. Came up a little before us, and kind of helped inspire us to do the things we do. And then we got to tour a bunch, and now we're going to get back together and play some shows. So it's cool.
That's awesome, Joe. Well, hey, man, thanks again for taking the time out of your day to sit down and talk with me, man. It's been great chatting with you about the new album, Epic Tales of Human Nature, that is out now. And you guys, we're going to be looking for some touring, so we got to stay tuned to all your social media stuff, and that's on your website, right?
That's up. You got everything on there, everything you could need to find.
All righty, man. Well, thanks again for sitting down or standing or whatever you're doing while we're talking. And I hope you have a great rest
brother.
of your day, buddy.
I really appreciate you taking the time to ask me these great questions and great conversation. I look forward to doing it again with you, my friend.
And thank you for listening to this interview with Joe Grah, the lead singer of JIBE, for BackStage360 with Big John from Big John Entertainment.